So our final speaker before our keynote speaker is Kathleen Farley-Wolf, and she is with King County Forestry Program, and she's going to talk to us about protecting our local forests.
So I am here. I manage our forest carbon program. It's a new program that we just launched about 4 years ago, so still new for us, and we're still learning a lot about this area. I wanted to start with some context for our forest carbon program, kind of where it fits in this broader picture of responses to climate change. It's one of many natural climate solutions that are things like protecting ecosystems from loss, improving management of those ecosystems, and restoring native land cover. And all of those can help us to either avoid greenhouse gas emissions or can help us to sequester and store more carbon, or sometimes both over time. And one of the really big benefits of these natural climate solutions relative to many of our other solutions to climate change, one is that many of them are available right now. So we have trees that have the technology to sequester and store carbon already, but also they have many co-benefits. So depending on the location and the system, you get lots of benefits for water quality, water quantity, habitat, cultural values, recreation, among others. So we get a lot of other side benefits besides that, that climate benefit. And here, Pacific Northwest forests are considered a very high priority, especially on the west side of the Cascades, where we have forests that already store very large amounts of carbon. But in King County, for example, we know that there's lots more capacity in our forests to sequester and store more carbon due to past land management. So our forest carbon program was launched with a few goals. The first and kind of biggest one is we're part of the Land Conservation Initiative, which is an initiative to conserve the last remaining 65,000 acres of high priority land in King County over the next 30 years. And so everything that we generate in revenue from this program, we put back into buying and conserving additional forest land. There's, of course, climate mitigation and resilience benefits of doing this as well. We can increase the carbon stored in our forests. We can also provide those co-benefits. And then we want to create conservation partnerships. And Seattle University is a buyer of our credits. And so this is one of those partnerships that we're really, really happy to have established. And that makes any of those buyers of the credits become partners in that land conservation initiative effort. We have two projects. They work fundamentally the same way. The county identifies high priority forest land. Those are forest lands that are generally going to be used either for commercial timber harvest or be harvested in preparation for rural residential development. And we buy those and put them under permanent protection. And so this figure kind of shows you what that cycle looks like of we acquire the land, we prevent those trees from being cut. We go through the certification process, we get the credits issued, we sell them to local companies and institutions, and then we reinvest that money in additional forest land conservation. So the buyers of our credits so far have been big range of very, very, very small companies, a really small fly fishing company that in Seattle that bought a small number of credits. Seattle University has been a buyer of our credits, up to really large corporations like Microsoft that are buying a much, much larger quantity of credits, and we're a very small part of their portfolio. We've really focused on local buyers. As I said, we're really interested in making that connection with community partners. And it's an interesting time in the carbon credit world. There's been a huge increase in demand, mostly because the good news is that many, many companies have made new net zero and other sustainability commitments over the last couple of years. So in addition to all that, when we think about this program, the other thing that we're trying to do is kind of a bigger picture thing of really thinking about how we value our forests and what we pay for and what that says about what's important about those forests. And I really like the way the Climate Trust put it in this quote, that forests are now being valued not just for their timber or development potential, but for the ecosystem services they provide. As the price of carbon goes up, this will exert more influence over how forests are bought, sold, and managed. And that's really kind of what we're trying to think about as our big picture of how can we change? We've valued timber for a very, very long time, and it still plays a really important role, but how can we value some of those other ecosystem services that really are very essential for us? And I'm happy to answer questions afterwards. Thank you.